Hi friends, hi family, Steph and Ton here. It's December. I can't believe we're here already and preparing for Christmas. I love the holidays, so I am already kind of in Christmas mode. Um, Last time we talked, I feel like I have a lot to update. My chemotherapy, my last treatment, unfortunately, it's not working the way we would like it to be responding, which is definitely discouraging. I'm trying really hard not to be discouraged. In talking to my doctor, he said, most cancer patients, they just want to, they constantly feel like they're not doing enough, and they're constantly trying so hard to find any way to see a difference, to know that they're doing something to heal. And so I think that's really hard because there are so many different things that are targeted towards cancer patients on Facebook, on Instagram, all these things of people saying, oh, do this, do that. I made a long list of things to take to my doctor and say, hey, what about this? What about that? What about, all these different things? And a lot of the things my doctor said, please don't do these at this time, because a lot of those things aren't shown to medically improve the type of cancer you have, and it also can actually be a detriment to the type of treatment that you're getting. And so he was like, I understand that there's like this feeling of like, what can I do to make it better? And so I've been trying to focus on things that I can do, which is, exercise, walking regularly, getting sunshine, getting good sleep. I do have grounding sheets and grounding mats and a few things that he was like, okay, that's not going to hurt you, like that can help you. But there is a lot of things that everybody, of course, like everyone wants to help, but a lot of it isn't fully researched yet, or no, maybe it helps some people, but it doesn't necessarily is proven to help my type of cancer. So that's been hard. But yeah, the chemo didn't work this last round, which is disappointing. But it didn't take long for Anthony. I think, it took maybe like a day or a day and a half for us to like really grieve it and then be like, okay, what's next? Like, we need to move forward. The nice thing about I'm taking as like a pro is that my cancer is not necessarily fast growing, which I'm thankful for. It's growing, but it's not like crazy growing. And so that makes me feel like we have some time to figure out what could work treatment wise. So that gives me some hope. It's discouraging that my cancer is aggressive and that we've already tried 3 different types of chemotherapy and so far nothing has touched it. And that is really discouraging because it just means that it's really aggressive and it's not responding to the different treatments. And so in meeting with my doctor before we left for Thanksgiving, he recommended us trying a new cocktail, which I've been calling them cocktails, of chemotherapy. It's called FOLFIRI. And I've had the full part of the chemo before, And then the fulfurry part is a new type of chemo that we're adding to my regimen for the next 3 months. I'll be doing that chemo every other week. So I'll have a week of chemo, a week off, and then another week of chemo, a week off. And so every single different type of treatment is always a little bit different. I had my first round this last week, and I was able to work a little bit, maybe like half my hours that I typically would work. I had okay energy for the first few days. I only had to go to the infusion center one day for a full day, and then I was able to take a pump, which I've done that before, home with me to continuously pump into my system until like 2 days later, and then I just had to go back to get off the pump. And then, I had a lot of nausea this round, which is unfortunate, and I had a lot of fatigue this round. They warned me that I might have diarrhea, and I maybe had like one day, and then the rest of it I went back to my usual situation of not being able to go. So that kind of just like is, you never know how your body is going to respond to this stuff. So yeah, it was a pretty rough week, to be honest, because I started treatment last Tuesday, and today is the first day that I feel okay and not super nauseous, not sick, not feeling crummy, not feeling super fatigued. I slept a lot this last weekend, and so today I was finally able to go for a walk and feel a little bit better. One thing that I would ask for a prayer is this last round. I had a lot of spiritual warfare going on for me this last weekend, which I guess I'm not completely surprised by that, because I'm really sensitive to spiritual warfare, and I've had a lot of like nightmares and dreams that I just felt like attacked in my sleep, which is unfortunate. Like I woke up just like kind of in a panic. Really weird dreams, nothing very, specific, but it just felt very dark and like I was being attacked spiritually. And so I typically, like, when that happens, it really makes me mad, to be honest, like, because it just feels like being kicked while you're already down. So I would just ask for prayer for in that realm of things too. Like, it's not just a physical battle, like it's also a spiritual battle. So I would ask for prayer for peace over my sleep and protection over my home, and just like a peaceful, healing presence in my home with my family as I'm trying to heal up and feel better. Thanksgiving, my trip was amazing. It was so much of what we needed, our family. We did not get sick whatsoever, so that's a huge praise report. I'm so thankful that I got to see my sisters and my mom and dad and my brother-in-laws and my nieces and nephews. I got to see my great uncles that live in Southern California. I haven't seen them in years, so that was really special for me. Also, one of my highlights, I've shared with a few friends, but I really wanted to go whale watching and dolphin watching on like one of those kind of excursions, and everybody else was kind of like hesitant, but because I wanted to do it, they were like, yeah, well, we'll go. So we were able to find like a really good deal, and we got on the boat, and the guy was like, don't get your hopes up. We didn't see anything yesterday, so, just keep your expectations low. And so anyways, we're on the water, and mid-trip, there was a pod of 500 plus dolphins that came through, and our boat was completely surrounded by this pod. I've never really been on one of those things before. So to see something like that, I was just like beyond overwhelmed with happiness. Most of you know that I love wildlife and like nature and animals, and so I was just so overcome. I was like crying in the corner, like watching all these dolphins. And everybody on the boat is like freaking out. They're like all so excited. And I'm just like, thank you, God. Like, I, felt like they showed up for me. And we also saw a humpback whale, which was amazing too. I've never seen a whale before. And so that was pretty amazing too. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, is it going to jump? Like, is it going to breach? And of course it didn't. I think that's a lot more rare. But we saw its tail, and it like waved at us, and yeah, it was just kind of an over the top amazing experience. I feel like God's been doing that a lot lately for me. And so it really meant so much to me. It was like everything that I needed to be around my loved ones and family and have laughter, and we were able to get some beach time and long walks, and it just was so filling of my heart and soul that I needed. And I'm praising God because my family is healthy. None of us had any issues. And I just feel like that is just such a answer to prayer, that we were able to go, but also stay healthy. So yeah, it's been a lot, to go on the trip and then transition quickly into treatment, and then Christmas is around the corner. We've got a little bit of decorations out, but nothing, too much. But this last weekend was really rough for me, and it was just so timely. Like, I had my growth group from work had sent like a care package to me today, and then my momco group had one of my moms stop by and dropped off some things for me. And I had multiple people reach out and just be like, hey, what's going on? I haven't heard an update. Like, been thinking about you, praying for you. And just all those things, like, just really, just showed me how much God has been so good. And I have such a beautiful community of people that care about me, that are praying for me. And this last 6 months has been so challenging, so hard. But I was telling Anthony today, I was like, you know what? It's so crazy because I feel like, and I've probably said this over and over again, but like, somehow, I feel like the things that we've struggled with in the past, like somehow it's just okay right now. My kids are doing so good in school. They love their teachers. Where Anthony's was accepted into school, a program for radiology, which doesn't seem like, it seems like maybe that would be a bad time for him to go to school, but it just seems like it was meant to be, because it's really hard for people to even get into those programs. Like, I don't know, I just feel like right now he and I both are really having to focus on our health right now, and I think it could be really overwhelming, and it is overwhelming, but it just seems like God has his hand on everything, and he's kind of guiding and navigating us through this, even, you know, right now where there's a lot of like questions or things that I don't see or know what's gonna happen or how things are gonna kind of fall into place, but he does have control over things. He has my life in his hands. He has Anthony's life in his hands. He has my kids' lives in their hands. He has our community in his hands. And we're called to trust him even in the hard things. There's a pastor that I have known of. I don't know him like on a personal level, but like I've done some ministry work from a distance in the past, and he's going through right now, he's fighting for his life. His family's like fighting with him. He had a lung transplant, and anyways, I've been following his journey. Like, his family posts like every day, and they're such a family of faith, and his daughter has been like posting these just powerful prayers, you know, of fighting on the spiritual side of things, and talking about some of the spiritual warfare that he's been going through, and it's just been like a fight, like tooth and nail, like every day has been a fight for them, and it's been such an inspiration to me, because I'm like, man, I feel like I'm, you know, I'm not there yet on my journey, but I do feel like I'm just fighting, and physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of the ways, like it does take a toll. But I've been kind of, some of her prayers have been so powerful, and I've been kind of like praying them in tandem, like for myself, for him, for other people that are going through it, and it's been such an encouragement. So I wanted to share one of her prayers. Whenever something really speaks to me, I end up texting myself so I don't lose it or I don't forget it. So one of her prayers is, would every ounce of discouragement that the enemy has sent our way these past days come back on his head as a reminder to him that he has no future to look forward to. I refuse to be discouraged. I declare that my courage cannot be derailed or destroyed. Not because things aren't challenging or out of order right now, but because God took a fearful person and proved that he holds my entire life in his hands. He holds my life. He holds my husband's life. He holds my children's lives. And he holds the lives of people that we have committed our lives to serve. His hands are secure. So we do not lose heart. We do not lean on our own understanding. We do not fear the terror of the night or the arrow that flies by day. We have this as a sure and steadfast anchor of the soul, a hope that enters into the inner place behind the curtain, where Jesus has gone as a forerunner on our behalf, having become a high priest forever. And so, my prayer for myself and for this pastor that's going through this right now, and for other people that are walking through health crisis or any kind of crisis, is that we can not live in fear, but know that God holds our lives in his hands, and that it is secure, and that he is fighting on our behalf, even when we don't have the energy, when we don't aren't even able to actively fight. Like, he is still fighting on our behalf, and other people are fighting on our behalf too. So I love you guys so much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following. I know a lot of you were reaching out, wondering what was going on, and I don't want my sharing to always be like a Debbie Downer. Like, I know that a lot of my news has been not great news, but I still feel like God is working in the background, and he's teaching me a lot about patience and about walking through all of these things in perseverance and trusting him. There's a scripture in James 1, 3, and 5. It says, perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking in anything. And this has definitely been a journey of perseverance and trusting, being patient in this journey. So I love you so much, and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I'll hopefully try to give another update before then, but if not, I just wish you and your family an amazing and beautiful holiday season. All right, take care. Bye-bye.